Hi! Today Grammy Jules is going to read you the story of the 12 Dancing Princesses. Once upon a time, there was a king who had 12 beautiful daughters and an unusual problem. Every night when the 12 princesses were sent to bed, their shoes were perfectly sound. And every morning when they came down to breakfast, their shoes were full of holes. Every day the king had to buy 12 pairs of new shoes. That was expensive. Though the expense did not worry the king, what did worry him was not knowing why the shoes were full of holes. He tried locking the bedroom door on the outside when all the princesses were safely inside. And he slept with the key under his pillow. It made no difference. The princesses' shoes were still full of holes in the morning. The king was so puzzled and so vexed because he couldn't find out why it was happening that he issued a proclamation. It said, "Whomsoever shall discover why the princesses' shoes are full of holes every morning shall have one of the princesses for his wife and shall inherit my kingdom when I die." Princes came from far and wide to try and find an answer to the mystery. Not one of them succeeded. The puzzled king was beginning to despair of ever finding an answer when a poor soldier came to the palace. The proclamation had said nothing about being a prince if you wanted to solve the mystery. So he had decided to make the attempt himself. The king received the soldier as kindly and as grandly as any of the princes. And that night he was taken to a room adjoining the princesses' bedrooms so he could keep watch. Now it so happened that the soldier had been very kind to a wise old woman on his way to the palace, and she had given him a cloak and some advice. "When the princesses offer you wine," she had said, "pretend to drink it and then pretend to fall asleep. Wear the cloak when you want to be invisible." That night, when the princesses were ready for bed, the eldest said to the soldier, "You must be thirsty. Take this cup of wine and drink." The soldiers remembered the wise woman's words, and he pretended to drink. And then he pretended to get very sleepy. Presently he closed his eyes as though he was asleep. As soon as they heard him snore, the princesses jumped from their beds, put on their shoes and their prettiest dresses. "Are you ready?" asked the eldest. "We are ready," replied her sisters. The eldest princess pressed a carved leaf on the end of her bed. The bed moved slowly to one side and revealed a hidden staircase leading down into the earth. The princesses picked up their skirts and hurried down the steps, the eldest leading the way and the youngest last of all. The soldier, who of course was awake and had seen everything, put on the cloak the old woman had given him around his shoulders. It covered him from head to toe and made him completely invisible. He ran after the princesses and caught up with them at the bottom of the steps. He was in such a hurry not to be left behind that he accidentally stepped on the hem of the youngest princess's dress and it tore. "Oh!" she gasped. "Someone has stepped on my dress." "Don't be silly," said her sisters. "You caught it on a nail. Come, hurry. We must not be late." At the bottom of the steps there was a wood in which all the trees had silver leaves. The soldier broke off one and put it in his pocket. "What was that?" cried the youngest princess in alarm as she heard the snap of the breaking twig. "It was nothing," her sisters said. Next, They passed through an avenue in which all the trees had golden leaves. Again, the princess heard the snap of a breaking twig. But again, her sisters told her it was her own imagination playing tricks on her. The running princesses came to the shore of a wide blue lake. At the edge of the lake, there were 12 boats with 12 handsome princes sitting, waiting at the oars. The soldiers sat in the boat which was to carry the youngest princess. "I wonder what makes this boat so heavy today," said the prince as he pulled harder than usual at the oars. On the far side of the lake, there was a magnificent palace from which the sounds of music and merrymaking came, and it was there that the mystery of the worn-out shoes was solved. The 12 princesses danced the entire night with the 12 handsome princes. Just before dawn, and when all their shoes were in shreds, the princes rowed the princesses back across the lake, and the princesses ran home. As soon as they reached their bedroom, they hurried to look at the soldier. He had run ahead of them, and they found him in his bed, still sleeping, or so they thought. "We are safe," said the eldest princess. The soldier followed the princesses to the secret palace the next night, and the following night too. On the third night, he took a jeweled cup from which the youngest princess drank and slipped it into a pocket in the invisible cloak. On the morning after the third night, the king sent for the soldier and said, "Your time is up. Either tell me why my daughter's shoes are all worn through every morning, or be banished forever." "Your daughter's shoes are worn because they dance every night in an underground palace," said the soldier, and he told the king all that he had seen. The princesses gasped and turned pale as the soldier took the silver leaf, the golden leaf, and the jeweled cup from his pocket and handed them to the king. They knew now that they could not deny that what the soldier said was true. "We must confess," said the eldest princess. The king was so relieved to have the mystery of the worn shoes explained, he could not stay cross with his daughters for long. "Now I shall be able to sleep at night," he said. The king kept the promise he had made in the proclamation, and the soldier married the princess of his choice. And many, many years later, when the old king had died, he became king in his place. Now that was a lovely story, and I hope that you all have a nice night and sweet dreams. Grammy Julie loves you.